YouTube, what's shakin'? And welcome into the Hollywood Rip studio for episode 24 of the Cardboard Critics Sports Card Podcast. We're almost at 6 months.
Jeez.
Home of the Hansel is so hot right now card of the week, the Ice Ice Baby Cold card of the week, and the Cha-Ching Cha-Ching Invest cards of the week. Thanks for joining us as always. I'm Mr. Hollywood, joined by Joe Nasty. A mix of basketball, baseball, and football, all gracing our lists today. So let's hop right into it. Quick disclaimer. The views expressed in this show are solely our opinions and do not constitute investment advice. Please consult a professional advisor for any investment decisions.
What makes someone a professional as opposed to us?
I mean, I don't think you can get like a degree in sports card investing.
Exactly.
So, you know.
Oh, I work for Charles Schwab. Yeah, we get
it. Yeah, exactly. Jumping right into hot cards of the week. Hot card number one is Oklahoma City Thunder power forward Chet Holmgren. His 2022 Prism Silver in raw and PSA 9 condition. The raw is up 58% over the past week to $71 per card. And the PSA 9 is up 56% to $71 as well. So the raw and the PSA 9 are the same price, just about. That's usually how it goes these days with modern cards. The interesting one is the PSA 10 version of this card is sitting at $225. But oddly, it is down 28% over the same past week.
That's really
little bit bizarre. Yeah. But what has Chet Holmgren done in 2024? He's averaging 19.2 points a game, 9 rebounds, 2.8 assists, and 3.8 blocks. By the way, he's shooting 57% from the field and 30% from downtown.
Not bad.
OKC is rolling 6-0, only undefeated team remaining in the West. We talked about it in the past. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jalen Williams, Chet. This is probably the best team in the West, honestly. Yeah. And SGA, Sega, will always kind of carry the headlines for this team because he's going to pour in 30 a game. But Chet is really establishing himself as kind of the 1A, 1B of the young big men, you know, with Wemby. And I mean, Chet has been really good, and I mean really good on defense in particular. And he's still averaging like 20 a game, so it's nothing to sneeze at on the offensive side of the ball either. No. The question becomes, do people care enough about Oklahoma City if they make a deep run? Is this a sexy enough name for people to buy? Because we saw what happened when the Celtics won last year. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown cards, they went up. They did, but they went up by like 60, 70%, and they won it all. First championship ever, one of the most marquee players in the NBA in Jason Tatum, wins an NBA championship, and no one cares. His cards, they never reach the highs that we saw for people like Luka, for people like Ant-Man, for people that didn't even win it. Some of these people didn't even make the finals.
Yeah.
Right? That's my big worry with a card like this. He's a second fiddle. He's in a small market. Do people really care if Oklahoma City wins it? I don't think so. And for that reason, I think I'm probably not in long term on Chet Holmgren. Sure, if they win it this year, this card will cost double what it costs now, for sure. But I don't see the same crazy upside as I would see for a Luka card if he goes to the finals again, or like a Wemby card if they go to the finals, which will not happen.
Not this year, no.
No. That's just my thoughts on it. But what do you think about Chet Holmgren so far?
So I get what you're saying, and those are pretty solid opinions. I very much am right there step for step with you to a degree. Because one, I think we've seen, and no, this is not James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Russell Westbrook, but also it could be. But we've seen guys from Oklahoma City take over and be a sensation. So there is groundwork there.
Yeah.
And you say, this is the guy that's the second fiddle on his team. And I was just thinking this as you were, setting us up here. This is a guy who was, I think we kind of forgot about Chet.
Yeah.
And during his 1 year at Gonzaga, he was a sensation.
Yep.
Coming into Gonzaga, he was being whispered about and was a sensation. He unfortunately got hurt in the summer league, which if I remember correctly, and we never saw him for what would have been his rookie year.
Right.
But he is an amazing player. And you talked about the defense and the blocks. Again, as we've talked about with Victor Wembanyama, at the very least, Chet Holmgren, and this is what he did at Gonzaga. This is stuff that we actually saw, as opposed to the stuff in the French league. We saw him be an elite rim defender in his time. Him and Drew Timme down there on the post at Gonzaga were a force in the low post. So I think Chet has a shot, especially with this team probably going to have a lot of success alongside Sega.
Yeah.
And I think there's going to be moments where he overtakes Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I do. And to that point, he just went mano a mano with Victor Wembanyama.
He did.
Just on October 30th, and you could say he dominated the matchup. I mean, Vic went 6-8-2. Talk about Chet's defense, right? Holmgren went 19 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists in that game. Very thoroughly, with the better team, obviously. Very thoroughly winning that matchup. I think there's groundwork here for this guy and this, this card and whatever to kind of skyrocket. And I think you might want to get in now before it gets too late, to be honest.
Okay. I see your point, but again,
Thank you.
It's for me, it's sort of, he's in Oklahoma. At the end of the day, he's in Oklahoma City.
I think the NBA is flat enough where that doesn't matter enough.
I mean, tell that to Jason Tatum, who's in probably one of the biggest markets in the NBA.
It's about your game, though. How does Anthony Edwards is in Minneapolis, but he's so electric that the game translates to popularity.
Right.
Jason Tatum's just like a mid-range machine.
Yeah, I wouldn't say Chet's electric.
No, but he does, and he's so weird, right? He's got the... And he was pretty good in that AT&T commercial, right? Singing alongside.
Yeah, he was.
But this is the size of Chet's legs.
Yeah.
Which is worrisome.
Yeah, I mean, that's bigger than Wemby's.
I was going to say, this is actually kind of girthy compared to those two.
Yeah. Quick honorable mention to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. We talked about him just 2 weeks ago in our Invest Cards segment. And what did we tell you to do?
Get in.
We told you to buy Shai cards 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
When they were 60% less than they are now.
No, we nailed that one.
Because his 2018 Optic rated rookie card in the PSA 10, by the way, guys, we'll put it on your screen, is up 63% over the past week. Come on, y'all. Moving on to hot card number 2 for the week. It is the kid, Ken Griffey Jr., outfielder for the Seattle Mariners and Cincinnati Reds. His 1989 Upper Deck base rookie card in a PSA 9 and raw condition. Those were both up big over the past week. The PSA 9 was up 20.3% to $202. The raw was up 41.7% to $59 over the past week. This was probably the only valuable card of any late 1980s junk wax set. Was a rookie Ken Griffey Jr. card.
Is this the one where he's it's just the headshot and he's got the turtleneck and he's smiling?
Look it up.
I've seen it. It's legendary.
Yeah. It's a legendary card.
Yeah.
Of course, we don't have to tell you, but we're going to tell you anyways. What did Ken Griffey Jr. do in his career? He hit 284, 630 home runs, 1,836 RBIs. Yep.
Oh, with the chain, too.
Yeah, legendary. 184 stolen bases and a 908 OPS. He was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in 2016 on the first ballot with 99.3% of the vote. That might be the highest percent of the vote, maybe in history.
Dude, who's the jerk who didn't go 100%?
Yeah, I know, really? Right? It's crazy.
It's Griffey.
His best seasons were 96, 97, and 98. He hit 49, 56, and 56 home runs in those 3 seasons. He hit 303, 304, and 284.
Bad year.
And his OPS in those 3 seasons was 1.02, 1.028, and 977. You know what's really crazy?
What?
Those OPS numbers are absolutely dwarfed by what Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani did this year.
Well, but he did that
Judge
over
and
such a long
Ohtani's
span.
OPS was 1.2 plus
That is
this
remarkable.
year. Insane. I love Ken Griffey Jr. I think this is a classic card, honestly. I have a couple of them. I have no idea where they are.
It is a classic.
I wouldn't buy this card right now. That's just me because it's like up 40% in raw condition. So why not? I think the reason it's up is because of the whole LeBron and Bronny thing.
Yeah, that's gonna be my question.
Yeah, I think that's why it was up because he's just been out of the spotlight for so long. But of course, as you know, LeBron and Bronny made their father-son debut together. And Ken Griffey Sr. and Ken Griffey Jr. were at the game. And they, exchanged hugs and like, oh my God, you guys did it too. Congratulations.
So cool.
Like, so cool, so cool. Like, no, you didn't do it. Like, LeBron created this.
And Senior was also very good.
Yeah, I don't know
Very
about,
good.
I mean, he was good.
Not a Hall of Famer.
No, I mean, he was good. He was good.
It's the reverse of the Jameses.
He deserved it.
Yeah.
They both deserved it. Unlike a couple other people. But, so I wouldn't buy it now because I think it's a little blip just from that public appearance.
Yeah.
But I think in general, it's a classic card, dude. Like, why? I mean, if you can get one of these autographed, it's so cool.
Yeah.
I would love to have one.
For sure.
Autographed.
100%. Like, I'm with you. As you were saying all that, I was like, is this because they showed up at the crypt in downtown LA? And so I think you're right. So yeah, don't get in right now. Just wait a few weeks when people are over all that. But do you remember when he signed with Cincinnati? Like the craze that was. I remember the Sports Illustrated cover because he was joining the division with Sosa and McGuire. It was like all these sluggers are together. Mm-hmm. And he got hurt right the first year or second year. He tore his knee.
He was hurt a lot.
Yeah, well, especially when he got to Cincinnati. Yeah.
Yeah.
You were just gonna gloss over the time he fell asleep in the White Sox clubhouse, his last year.
Man, it's a shame. It's a shame. Like if Griffey wasn't hurt so much, he would have hit over 700.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He might be the true record holder.
Yeah.
If he were not hurt.
Prettiest swing ever. This that everyone.
Yeah.
You don't need to talk about Griffey.
Honorable mention, of course, Freddie Freeman cards are still going crazy. By the way, we talked about Freddie Freeman cards last week after his Grand Slam. But just a quick rundown. His 2011 Topps base card in a PSA 10, that rookie card, is up 155% now over the past week. His 2011 Topps Finest rookie card in raw condition is up 272% over the past week. We talked a lot last week about Freddie Freeman, so if you want to know our thoughts on that, just watch last week's video all about Freddie Freeman. But moving on now to cold cards of the week, and who better to start it off than Anthony Richardson, former quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. He's now the quarterback.
He's not a linebacker now. He's still a QB.
He's now the quarterback for the bench,
Right.
for the Indianapolis bench warmers. His 2023 Donruss Optic Hollow in a PSA 10 is down 55.2% over the past week to $84 per card. It is an $84 card. This was, get this, this was a $223 card 5 days ago.
What's he gone down to now?
84.
Yikes.
5 days ago.
Wow.
Of course, he came out of last week's game in the third quarter because he was tired.
Right.
He was then subsequently replaced by Joe Flacco, who is now starting in place of Richardson. You should probably be investing in Flacco cards at this point because 39-year-old Joe Flacco, absolute legend.
Yeah, but he didn't play well tonight.
No, he didn't. But he randomly will throw for like 450 yards and 4 touchdowns.
The arm's still there.
Weeks. It's crazy. But what did Anthony Richardson do in 6 games besides get too tired to play the next snap? In 6 games, he threw for 958 yards, 4 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, with a quarterback rating of 57.2. He rushed the ball 41 times for 242 yards and a touchdown, and he fumbled 5 times. This guy turned the ball over 12 times in 6 games. We've talked about Anthony Richardson before, and I feel like the writing was kind of on the wall with him in terms of what this kid was coming into this league with. He wasn't good in college. And guess what? He isn't good in the NFL.
No.
This dude threw 24 touchdowns and 15 interceptions in his college career. 24 to 15. I'd say he's average if he did that in the NFL. Maybe a little bit above average, right? He did that in college.
On a Florida team that didn't really do anything.
Yeah, on a bad Florida team. Like, in my opinion, it's time to sound the alarm on Anthony Richardson. This kid is not good. Like, get out while you can. The athleticism, sure, it's elite. But he cannot throw the ball. He just cannot throw the ball. And even when he runs with it, guess what he does?
Gets tired.
He gets tired, and he just drops it on the floor for the other team to pick up.
Right.
Thoughts on Anthony Richardson? What a disappointment.
It's great to have all that athleticism, but if you're gonna run around and be athletic and then be like, man, am I pooped? Get me out of here. Probably not work. Probably work on, or it's probably time to work on your drop back ability.
Yeah.
I don't know what you want me to say at this point. We talked about it at the beginning of training camp. We talked about Anthony Richardson, and I said, I've never been in, and it's to the point that you just made. Like, it's not really breaking it down scientifically, but like, you got to do something in college to use a top 5 draft pick on the kid. So I more want to touch on, hopefully quickly, on the overall point at large here being, look, the Colts are now 4-5, but the division is garbage. Like, they're 4-5 and they're in second place behind the underwhelming Texans at 6-3. So there's room to grow here, and they could conceivably win the division.
Right.
So here's what the Colts are saying. They've essentially given up on Richardson, which is really weird because remember, he missed a lot of last year. He played a little bit of this year, but also he missed at least a game or two this year, right, to an injury, to the concussion?
I think so.
Yeah. So they've hardly seen the guy play. And in the midst of a division race, they said, it's just not worth it. We don't care about getting any more tape. In practice, in the locker room, in the video room, at the stadium, we've seen enough. We're not going to bother really seeing what we got for a guy who I think's maybe played 9 games, if that.
Yeah, it's so wild.
So first of all, that's a major disappointment and a major black mark against this regime who took a chance on a guy in, I think, the 5th pick overall.
Crazy.
And you're already moving off it and going to, again, a 39-year-old Joe Flacco who, God bless him.
Yeah.
But in the middle of a division race, that's your next option.
Hey, Joe Flacco was in the playoffs last year.
And they got subsequently destroyed by their division rival.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
By Houston. So that's, like, Shane Steichen, I think, is a really good offensive mind. I think he's done pretty good things at Indianapolis. But this regime now has, this is going to be tough to dig out of because this is a big loss.
Lot of question marks there. A lot of question marks. And a lot of draft capital used.
Is this really the move? Like, was it that egregious of a move by Anthony Richardson to say, pull the plug, we're done?
Yeah.
That's kind of
well,
wild.
Well, I'm done. I'm pulling the plug on him. And guess what? If you just sold an Anthony Richardson card,
good for you.
Congratulations. As we move to our second cold card of the week, and that is Portland Trailblazers guard Scoot Henderson. His 2023 Prism Silver and a PSA 10 is down 26.7% over the past week to just $71 per card. It was $100 at the start of the season. At its peak last year, it was well over $100. He is not starting and hasn't shown much improvement through 7 games. In 2024, he's averaging 13.3 points, 3.1 rebounds, 4.9 assists on just 41% shooting.
Thanks.
And just 29% shooting from downtown. His rookie year, 2023, he shot just 38.5%. So he's gone from shooting 38.5% to 41%. Is that an improvement? Yeah. Is it like an improvement for me to think Yeah, this kid is going to be really good. No. Portland isn't good. Scoot has a ton of athleticism, a ton of quickness, and a lot of potential. He has a crazy long wingspan for someone only 6'2", explosive leaping ability. He's a freak athlete, but he's only 6'2", and unless he learns how to shoot, that is what will stop him from becoming an elite player in this league. The emergence of Anthony Simons at point guard the past few seasons leaves Scoot in a really weird place because he's an undersized guard, right? And if Simons is manning the point and Scoot has to play shooting guard, or Scoot comes in and plays point guard and Simons moves to the 2, they're both 6'2", someone's at an undersized disadvantage, and Scoot can't shoot.
Yeah, and neither of them are Damian Lillard, so.
Yeah, I mean, granted, Anthony Simons is averaging 20 and 5 in 34 minutes. I mean, he's a good player. But it's weird because, like, he emerged before they drafted Scoot, and sure, they drafted Scoot for the potential, the athleticism, what they saw, the raw talent. You take the best player that's on the board.
Yes.
Right? But they took him in a spot where they can't really plan. And they can't really, like, give him the keys to the offense, right? Because Simons now has the keys to the offense.
Yeah.
So Scoot's only playing 25 minutes per game. Until Simons is gone or Scoot is traded, I don't like his position. I don't like how he fits into this Blazers rotation. That's not even talking about how I think the Blazers are not going to win more than 25 games for the next multiple years. I can't see them winning more than 25 games.
Yeah.
I'm out on Scoot Henderson for now. You?
So this is going to be less like X's and O's and more like this is what we're dealing with here with Scoot. So let's start here. Yes, 20 years old.
Yeah.
So room to grow.
Yeah, very young.
And you look at pictures of him, you're like, that's a 20-year-old? Good Lord. You'd think he's at least like 24, 25.
Yeah.
But that doesn't matter, right? You have to go out there on the court and do it. So he, coming up out of high school and in the G League, which remember, he didn't go to college, which I have a whole diatribe of its own about. He was supposed to be like, oh, well, you may not get Victor Wembanyama, but like Scoot Henderson's like maybe even the better prospect here, but like it's not a bad second option. Not only was he not drafted second overall, he was third, so like boo-hoo. But like going in, it was Vic and Scoot. Do you want the raw athleticism and the adult body from a teenager, or do you want this Martian? And obviously it was always going to be Vic. But he didn't go number 2.
Right.
He was drafted behind a guy with a hot shooter with off-the-court issues in Brandon Miller out of Alabama. So that's the guy you couldn't get drafted over after you were the de facto number 2.
Yeah.
And
Brandon Miller has been good.
No, right decision. But like, you dropped below that guy.
Right.
And I have huge issues with people. I think going the G League Ignite route is so bad for players for a variety of reasons. And that, for those who aren't familiar, if you don't want to go to college, you just want to get straight up paid by the NBA, you can be an out-of-high-school kid and play for it's a G League team full of could-be-in-college guys instead. I think you lose visibility. So, like, I think Cooper Flagg will get drafted first regardless, the kid at Duke right now.
Yeah.
Because we're going to see him a lot more, as opposed to someone else that could be amazing in the G League. The quality of play is not there. You don't get the correct coaching from guys like Bill Self and Tom Izzo and Coach K at the time. Everyone who ever goes that G League route, it doesn't work out. And so I think all that coming together, I'm with you. I'm scooting away from Henderson.
Yeah. Who's the best G League Ignite player ever?
I'm trying to remember, what's the kid on Houston? Jalen Green? Or Jalen, I think he came from Ignite, and he's not really lighting the world on fire either.
I mean, he's decent. Let
me double check that he even came from there.
You can double check. I'm going to move to our third cold card of the week, and that is Shohei Ohtani, DH/pitcher for the Los Angeles Dodgers. His 2018 Topps Chrome pitching and Bowman Chrome batting PSA 10s, they were down 17% to $176 per card, and 17.9% to $833 per card, respectively, for the Bowman Chrome hitting. The Topps Chrome pitching was $220 at its height and $1,000 for the Bowman Chrome batting just a week ago. So in a week, we've lost between 17 and 18% on these two cards. Of course, in the World Series, Shohei went like 1 for 21 or something and hit like 0.47 with 0 homers, 0 RBIs, and 0 stolen bases. Of course, he did suffer that left shoulder subluxation in the Game 2 win in LA, sliding into second base, trying to steal a bag for the Dodgers. Of course, the Dodgers did win the World Series. That is Shohei Ohtani's first World Series of his career. He can take that monkey off his back now in the greatest of all time argument. Well, you have to have won a World Series. Well, guess what? He has won a World Series. Prior to his World Series injury, by the way, he was hitting .277 in the playoffs with 3 home runs and 10 RBIs and some big hits. They would not have gotten there without him. So let's be honest. You could tell that Shohei was not right in the World Series, especially after that slide.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to give him a pass on this one. This is totally normal for these cards to be down 17, 18% after the year he had. This is exactly what happened last year as well. These will keep heading south. The pitching Topps Chrome will come down to probably around $100 by the end of the off season. The batting one will come down to maybe $500-600, maybe something like that. Maybe $500. Yeah. Ohtani's gonna be fine. Yeah. Like, he's gonna come back next year and pitch. The Dodgers are gonna be even better next year than they were this year, which is crazy. And he will show up. It was just a quick little blip, little panic from people thinking like, oh my gosh, he's not good. He went 1 for 21 in the World Series. Like, yeah, he went 1 for 21 in the World Series with a dislocated shoulder, dude. Like, Aaron Judge just went like 3 for 24 in the World Series, like completely fine.
Just with new teeth.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I still think Ohtani cards this offseason at their bottom, this could be the time to get in on them because they might be the lowest they ever go if he has a crazy pitching year next year. These cards are going to be wild.
Right. Yeah, I mean, if you go he had 2 hits in the World Series at least. I remember the hit.
Shohei?
Yeah, he had the double and he got the hit off Tim Hill in Game 4.
I thought he had 1.
It's all good. Look, if you go 2 for 20 or 1 for 20 in in like July when you're playing a week against the Tigers and then the Rockies, it's like, okay, well, you're human and these things happen.
Yeah.
When everyone's watching, it's a little bit different. And the swing was just completely different after the shoulder injury.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you could see it in his face. The way he cut down on the ball instead of that beautiful, graceful upward arc was very much different.
And he was wincing. You could see it was bothering him.
But he and the team figured him being in that position was worth more than him not. So it's fine.
He drew some very key walks.
Yes.
He also struck out in a few key moments.
Look, it sounds like to me they're cold and they're going down only because they were at stratospheric heights.
They were a crazy amount.
So yeah, that's all. Like, don't ever be out on Ohtani. If you're wondering on the all-time G League Ignite guys, it is probably Jalen Green. Okay. And I didn't realize that Jonathan Kuminga is a G League Ignite.
Kuminga.
Yeah. So, but those are...
Hey, CJ Miles is on
CJ Miles. But I think a lot of these guys are ones that, instead of going to like a team's G League, like, so it's not just for high school kids.
Yeah.
What more could you say about Ohtani? Don't worry.
He'll be fine.
Yeah.
But moving on to our Invest segment of the week. In this week's Invest segment, we're not talking about a single card in particular, but we want to talk about, because it's going to come in the next couple months.
Freaking roster.
Baseball is over, right? The time to buy baseball cards will be in December. It will be in December. It will be in January. That will be the time to buy them when no one's talking about it and no one cares. So I'm going to rattle off a list of players.
So we go yes or no.
And I'll say who I kind of like going into next season. But we're going to say yay or nay. Is it a good time to invest in this player?
Okay.
Number one, let's start off with, I don't even need to start off with this one because we just did it. It's Shohei Ohtani. Would I invest in it in December? I'm saying yes. You're saying yes. Yeah. Number two, Juan Soto. I am going to say... Quit interrupting me. I'm going to say on Juan Soto, I think you do need to have a Juan Soto card in your collection. I do.
Yeah.
However, they were sky high during the World Series. I think they're going to come down quite a bit. I'm going to wait on Juan Soto because he could presumably join a new team. If he joins a new team, these things are going to spike again. Right? For the excitement. I sold the only Juan Soto rookie autograph I had when he signed with the Yankees, or when he got traded to the Yankees, for like way more than it was selling for the day before. So I'm probably holding on Juan Soto. I'm not buying it yet, but I think if you don't have one, you need to find a way to get one eventually.
Yeah. So Juan Soto, I do in November, and if I can't get it done in November, I wait because he'll probably sign. Okay. We're now ramping up to the winter meetings in December, so. Yes, on Juan Soto, but it better be in the next 3 weeks or so.
Okay. Well, hopefully it comes down enough. Mike Trout.
Yeah.
No. I'm out on Mike Trout. The dude just can't stay healthy. He just can't stay healthy. I'm out on Mike Trout. No? Okay. No on Mike Trout. Bobby Witt Jr. I will tell you, I am in on Bobby Witt Jr. His cards are still, in my opinion, pretty darn undervalued. You can buy his one-of-one rookie autographs for less than $5,000. And in my opinion, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I am in on Bobby Witt Jr. come December. You are as well?
Yeah. I know that's your guy, but yeah, for sure. One bad playoff series isn't going to do it.
Yeah, no. They're going to build around him for the foreseeable future. It'll be interesting to see if the Royals spend some cash this offseason. Tark Skubal.
Someone has to accept it's the thing.
Yeah, it's true. Tark Skubal. How do I say this? I don't invest in pitchers, so I'm out on Tark Skubal.
I'm in. I think he's that good.
Yeah, he is that good, but
for right now, get in now and then sell in 2 years. Yeah,
if his arm holds up.
Yeah,
right. Mookie Betts. I will say I'm not in on Mookie Betts right now because the prices are high. He just won his third World Series. But this, I put Mookie Betts into the same category as Juan Soto. You have to have a Mookie Betts card if you're a baseball fan. And so I will say I'm not buying it now. I'm probably not buying it in the offseason. I'm probably buying it when Mookie's like 37 and like can't run anymore and is getting paid $32 million a year to hit like 220 in DH or something.
Well, he's not going to be able to on this team.
Yeah, something like that. That's where I'm at on Mookie. You?
Yeah, he just came off a really great year, even despite the injuries. Broke out of his playoff situation.
Yeah.
I'm in on Mookie. This is probably kind of the same argument for the next guy as well.
Yeah.
Probably have to do it now because like they're about to come out of they're about to head down the mountain.
The next guy, by the way, is Freddie Freeman.
Yeah. Same deal for me.
Yeah, I'm kind of same deal with Freddie. I'm kind of same deal with Freddie as well. Although the Dodgers have just as good a shot as anyone in recent memory of repeating and could see another spike in these cards. Who knows? Aaron Judge. I am out on Aaron Judge. You know why? Because he's had 2 historic seasons in the past 3 seasons, and no one gives a crap. Outside of New York fans, who cares that Aaron Judge hit 60 home runs?
In a backwards way, the terrible World Series may have like helped juice him up a bit because now that he's a laughing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, his cards are going to come down a little bit.
So, in on Aaron Judge, he'll have another remarkable year or 2.
Okay.
And now he might have some juice as the guy who was terrible in the World Series.
Yeah, who knows? If he comes out and hits 75 next year, then F it.
To a lesser degree, kind of the Kershaw treatment that we saw all through the 2010s.
Yeah, true. Paul Skeens and Chris Sale, 2 pitchers. Man, this is hard. Skeens is like probably going to win the Cy Young next year.
Next year? Probably. Or Yamamoto.
No.
Maybe?
No. Either way, I'm out on both. Again,
out.
Pitchers, I'm not a fan of buying pitchers' cards. I'm just not. Like Paul Skeens, keep in mind, he's still young enough where, look, at the end of the day, no matter how good you are, people start not caring once you're like 3rd, 4th, 5th year. Because they're always looking at the shiny new toy.
That's true.
So I'm waiting. I will sit here and wait on Paul Skeens all day.
Okay. Skeens, yes. He's got the it factor.
Yeah, for sure.
Chris Sale, no, which is crazy to say about the guy who's about to win the Cy Young. And somehow, I had no idea, but he got the NL pitching Triple Crown this year.
Yeah, he did. Wild.
He's going to get hurt next year.
Fernando Tatis Jr.
Yes. Unfortunately, but yes.
I am no on Fernando Tatis.
Really? Okay.
I am not buying his cards. You know why? Because once you get caught for steroids once...
repeat offender, huh?
This sport remembers.
Yeah.
This sport really remembers, and I don't think his card values will ever recover. I don't think they will ever recover. And so for that reason, I am not in on Tatis.
Look, that was the best team the Dodgers played in the playoffs.
Yeah, it was.
And so, they're going to be good again. He may have to go back to shortstop, by the way. The way free agency is stacking up, that would be interesting to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I'm going to rattle off 8 more now.
Yeah.
8 to 10 more, and you just tell me which 2 of those 10 you're most excited about. Julio Rodriguez, Jason Dominguez, Corbin Carroll, Jackson Merrill, Ellie De La Cruz, Ronald Acuna Jr. coming back from his second ACL tear, Spencer Strider, Jackson Chourio, Gunnar Henderson, Yamamoto, Holiday, and Caminero. I'll tell you, for me, I'm probably most excited. If I had to invest in some of these cards in the offseason, I'm probably a buyer on Julio Rodriguez. I'm a buyer on Corbin Carroll.
Yes.
And I'm a buyer on Jackson Merrill. Those are probably my 3 of that list right there. J-Rod and Corbin had a fantastic last couple weeks of the season. They got off to historically horrific starts. And Jackson Merrill is just an absolute beast in an absolute beast of a lineup down in San Diego. I love all of those players. I'm not really in on Ellie De La Cruz. Too much swing and miss. Jason Dominguez, not enough sample size. Acuna Jr.
Couldn't beat out Verdugo.
Yeah, on 2 glued together knees. No thank you. Strider coming off an elbow. No thank you. I do think Chourio and Gunnar Henderson are very interesting. Chourio had a really good end of the year. Good mix of power and speed. And Gunnar looks like we'll see what the Orioles do in the offseason. But they have the potential to do something special down there. Up there in Baltimore. Those are my thoughts on those ones that I would be trying to target come December. You? Like a J-Rod RPA like this one. I think we have a Corbin Carroll first Bowman here too.
I love J-Rod. He's one of my favorite. He's one of my favorite non-LA players. Truly. A lot of these guys I more have questions about than I do absolutely want to get in on. Mainly Gunnar Henderson. He was so bad in the playoffs, and I know I just said one series doesn't determine things, but he was also pretty bad in the second half, and I all of a sudden don't love the direction Baltimore's going in. Corbin Burns is a free agent, and if he leaves, yikes town. Adley had a really bad finish to the year.
I don't think Adley is that good. I don't know.
You were proving correct.
Call me crazy. I don't think Adley is that good.
So Jackson Holiday has a lot to prove, and then maybe I'm a homer. I love Strider, but it's the question mark of coming back.
Yeah.
If he stays healthy, I think what we saw pre-injury and what we saw as the arm finally got itself back together and he was firing relatively on all cylinders is Yamamoto. I wasn't really being sarcastic when I said he might win Cy Young next year. I think he is that good. And I think we saw a pitcher who knew it was finally I'm in the MLB, I know what I'm doing, I know how to use my stuff against MLB hitters in that game too. The fastball plays. The splitter isn't just a splitter, it's a borderline changeup.
Yeah, it is.
And he's got the yo-yo curveball. If he stays healthy and he's got his weird training regimen, there's something there. Yeah. There's a reason every good team in baseball wanted to give him $300 million.
Right. Well, you've heard who I like going into the offseason doldrums. You've heard who Joe Nasty likes going into the offseason doldrums. Why don't you guys comment in the comments down below who you are targeting in the offseason doldrums, because that'll do it for us for this week's episode of the Cardboard Critics Sports Card Podcast. Hope you enjoyed this week's show. If you did, like, comment, and subscribe down below. We love hearing from you guys. And remember, comment, who are you buying from baseball in the offseason? So until next time, I'm Mr. Hollywood. That's Joe Nasty. We'll see you next week. Mr. H, Joe Nasty, Audi 3000. I got it right this time.
Right.